looked up the definition on Oxford. The practice of eating only food not
Hold
derived
on,
from
wait,
animals and typically
Hello?
avoiding
Hold
the
on,
use.
hold on.
Hello?
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, how do I get in on the conversation?
Oh, it's on what's his name? Ask Yourself. So come to Ask Yourself.
Oh, it's on his server?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be there in a minute.
Right.
Where the fuck is Ask? There we are. Yo.
Oh, neat. Vegan
Yeah.
Games. Hello,
Yeah, what's up?
I'm a big fan.
Hey. Yeah, what's up? Do you want Vegan Gains? I mean, Richard, do you want to take over or do you want to listen? What do you want to do?
Yeah, somebody told me you're having a debate about veganism. Like, what are you guys talking about so far?
Well, my proposition.
We haven't really started. So I am not a vegan, but I'm going to argue in favor of veganism because Normative, whoever I'm talking to. By the way, what should I call you?
You can
Mr.
just call me
Slave.
Vegan Game. Oh, sorry.
Sorry,
I'm
Mr.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, Richard, this is Mr. Slave speaking.
Yeah.
Ask Yourself. Isaac gave me this weird
Mr.
name.
Slave. Okay,
Yeah,
Mr. Slave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Mr. Slave argued that veganism is nonsense. I feel like that's probably a little bit nonsensical, but there's probably something more under the hood. So we were going to get into that, but we haven't yet. He asked me to define veganism, and I said it's just the refusal or the unwillingness or the property of not choosing to eat or use animal products. Vegetarianism would be avoiding meats mostly. Vegans might avoid eggs and milk and cheese and such like that. Vegans also might choose to purchase vegan gloves or vegan boots, although that might not be true for everybody. And then he argued that veganism is an ethical framework, to which I said it could be, but isn't necessarily.
Okay, I disagree with your definition. The definition that I would give for veganism is it is a ethical belief and lifestyle that grants animals the same rights as human beings if they were to be trait equalized to those animals. So if we were to find human beings that have similar levels of intelligence, sentience, and maybe physical abilities or disabilities, we would grant human rights to those humans that have a similar level of intelligence or ability as, say, a chicken, a cat, or a pig. So that would be the definition I would use. And then, yeah, and then if you...
I would agree with that definition, but we can use that definition. I mean, surely there are vegans that do it for reasons that are not ethical.
No, by definition, veganism is an ethical position.
You don't think somebody could choose to be vegan because they have some sort of environmental concerns, believe it to have health impacts, or even just decide that it's an interesting limitation to choose to be vegan in order to
I would
learn
say
how to cook better? Or
I would say by definition they wouldn't be vegan because yeah, any of those things. So it could very well be the case. It probably isn't, but could be the case that eating animal products is more environmentally friendly. It could be healthier for you. So they would just go back to eating meat if they found out that were the case. So it is fundamentally an ethical view.
Okay, we can use that definition.
What do you mean? So who am I debating? Richard, do you want to debate me?
Yeah, I'd like to.
That's terrific. All right.
I am actually vegan too, so.
No, Richard, we know each other. You don't remember me?
Your voice sounds familiar.
Yeah, you blocked me on my channel. You refused to unblock me. I still don't know. I've always been very nice to you. I like you very much. I enjoy debating you. I don't know. I mean, we could do lots of debates. I think our debates are.
I can't remember blocking you. I'm on your channel, Mr.
Yeah.
Slave, and you're not blocked.
You're on my channel?
Well, yeah, Mr.
I
Slave.
am blocked. Are you streaming live now?
Yeah, I'm looking at your channel, and I'm looking at whether or not I blocked you, and you're not blocked. It's giving me the option to report user.
Okay. Well, I guess fantastic. I'll give it a shot next time I'm on your channel. Okay, so let's talk. So, Richard, would you say that veganism is a scientific theory?
No.
Okay. Then I would say that it is therefore nonsense.
Okay. Would you say law is a scientific theory?
Well, we could state law as a scientific theory if we wanted to. Sure.
Well, it's not. I don't know by what definition of scientific theory. Like, law is just essentially a normative position. It's basically just stating that there should be certain rights granted to individuals to provide the most amount of benefit to a society. I don't see how that's a scientific theory.
Well, let me help you. So we can propose a scientific theory that we have noticed is a scientific phenomenon that human cultures create legal systems, create law, and then we can further discuss this scientifically as a scientific phenomenon. We can objectively, as objectively as possible, we can study it, and we can.
Well, you can study law, but law itself isn't a scientific theory.
Well, I don't know what law itself is. We can propose law as a scientific theory, and if you don't propose it as a scientific theory, then whatever it is you are doing is utter nonsense. If you want to study law as a scientific theory, then I can relate to it. Otherwise, I cannot relate to it. I don't know how to relate to a non-scientific theory.
Okay, so do you believe human beings should have rights?
Wait, what happened to the law? You said you
Yeah, we're talking about law. We're talking about law, and this directly relates.
No, you can't. Okay, so this is law? You're still with law? Go ahead.
Yeah, so do you think human beings should have rights?
That's ad hominem. This has nothing to do with me.
That's not an ad hominem, that's a question. Do you think human beings should have rights, yes or no?
That's ad hominem. I have nothing to do with this.
Do you know what an ad hominem is? I didn't personally attack you in any way.
You're referencing... I'm not... That's an ad hominem attack. No. You're referencing me in this...
Do you know what an ad hominem is?
Okay, so you're referencing...
So do you know what an ad hominem is?
Richard...
Can you give me the definition of ad hominem? Because what I said was not an ad hominem. I don't think you know what it is.
I can give you my definition of ad hominem, and that, that's it.
Well, if your definition of ad hominem is a duck, I don't really care. There is a definition of ad hominem.
There's no a definition of anything.
Yes, there is. There is a definition of ad hominem.
No, there is. No, there is no a definition of anything. Words are social constructs. They are part of languages that evolve side by side with humans.
That's great. So what is an ad hominem?
Well, according to me, what do I feel is an ad hominem? It's a logical fallacy. You're referencing your debate partner instead of referencing the topic at hand.
I asked you a question. So how is asking a question an ad hominem?
You asked me a personal question about me, about my preference. It has nothing to do with this discussion.
Yes, it does. We're talking about a normative topic that relies on personal preference.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what normative...
We're talking about an ethical topic. Ethics require the existence of a preference.
Is the word ethical, can you state it as a scientific theory?
I don't know what any of that matters. So we're talking about ethics, veganism.
If this is not a scientific discussion, then it's utter nonsense, and I cannot relate to it, try as I might.
Okay, so when you're choosing to eat certain foods, I don't know, maybe you'd prefer a sandwich or an orange juice. Is there a scientific Is there a scientific basis behind any of your choices, or is that purely based off preference? Like, what is there a scientific way to determine fashion? Like, I'm assuming you don't go outside in a clown costume, right? So your choice of attire is there a scientific?
What's going on? Okay, I'm lost.
We're not talking about science. We're talking about normative values. So I'm just asking you, do you believe human beings should have rights?
I'm not interested in any discussion other than a scientific discussion.
Yeah, okay, then leave. Then leave. We're talking about veganism, which is a normative topic. If you want to talk about science, then leave.
No, then you lose, because my proposition was veganism.
You didn't make a proposition to me.
I did. It's in the general chat. It's in the chat. It's a proposition. Veganism is utter nonsense. Same proposition I made to Dr. Avi and Ask Yourself, Isaac, in my first discussion when I mopped the floor with their faces. Nothing changed.
Yo, keep in mind, neither of us grant that is a proposition, let alone a proposition we disagree with.
They refuse to understand the definition of utter and nonsense. That's how great debaters they are. Great debaters. They could not understand for an hour and a half. I was trying to explain to them the definition of utter and nonsense. They just couldn't figure it out. It was beyond their understanding, comprehension. The great two debaters, your great teachers, Richard, that's what they had to say. That was my first day in my life debating, and I mopped the floor with them.
Okay, well, that's good. Why don't you mop the floor with me by being able to answer a simple question? Do you believe human beings should have rights or not?
You already disengaged. You told me to leave. You lost this debate. It's over. We can have a nice discussion
Yeah,
now.
so do you believe human beings should be granted rights, yes or no?
That has nothing to do with this discussion.
Yes, it does, since we're talking about veganism, and it was stated in my proposition that I believe humans should have rights, animals should also be extended the same rights.
No. The proposition was veganism is utter nonsense. It is utter nonsense, nothing else. It is unscientific. It is an unscientific theory. It is utter nonsense, like every other unscientific theory.
So do you think any normative position, since it's non-scientific, any normative position is nonsense?
Any unscientific theory is nonsense. You either make
okay, well, we're not talking about theories. We're talking about normative positions. So is any normative position is nonsense? So if you think raping children is bad, that's utter nonsense?
Hey, again, you're heading towards ad hominem.
That's not an ad hominem. I'm asking you a question. Is any normative position nonsense? Yes or no?
I think if it's an is that a scientific theory? Is your proposition?
I'm not claiming it's a scientific theory. So is any normative position utter nonsense? Is any normative position utter nonsense?
Give me an example of a normative position.
So thinking raping children is bad, is that utter nonsense?
What do you mean? I don't even know what you're saying. Okay, so
do you think do you think having the position?
Honestly, look, I have nothing to say about it. It's unscientific. As a scientific theory, it has to start with we noticed a phenomenon.
We're not talking about scientific theories. We're talking about normative positions.
I'll help you, vegan Richard.
Well, no, I'll help you. We're talking about normative positions. If your statement is, I only care about descriptive facts, and you don't care about normative positions, that would logically mean you think any normative position is utter nonsense. So if somebody thinks raping children is bad, would you call that utter nonsense?
No, stop. Okay, we cannot bring that topic up. I'm streaming on my channel. I don't want to...
Okay, do you think... okay, if you had the position that Hitler was bad, is that utter nonsense?
The example is going to be steal candy from a candy store. That's the best we can do with YouTube.
So do you think... if you had the position that Hitler was a bad person, is that utter nonsense?
Stop. We're stealing candy from a candy store. Don't say anything else. I don't want to get my channel removed. I leave these videos on.
Okay, so I think I'm done. This guy just doesn't want to debate. All right, take care.
Do not talk about candy.
Yeah, I'm kind of done. He's just wasting my time. What a fucking idiot.